Lytudiep. Hello everyone. Welcome everyone back to Lytudiep channel. Jame was so happy to have both Diep and Beanie. They lived like a family with full of love. But then because of work and too much pressure, Jame could not choose much. He decided to return and lost contact once again with Diep. More sadly, the girl Diep could not call Jame, but Nee's grandmother appeared at this moment. Maybe Diep will lose Nee at this time. So how will the story unfold? Today let's continue watching this story. From the very first time James met little Nee, he never imagined his heart could open like that again, not for a stunning woman or a lavish lifestyle, but for a child with bright, round eyes and a quiet little smile. She didn't speak much at first, but whenever she laughed, it was as if the entire world melted away. The stress, the noise, the weight of his CEO title. Diep had taken Nee in without hesitation. She didn't need explanations, nor did she ask for anything in return. James watched the way Diep combed Nee's hair, taught her how to brush her teeth, and held her hand like she was her own. Something in James cracked open. He started visiting more often, slipping away from towering office buildings and boardroom calls to sit cross-legged on the floor, playing silly games with a giggling child who called him Uncle James. When he had to travel for work, he always made sure to call, every night, without fail, Uncle James. Nee would shout into the screen, showing him drawings, reciting songs, telling him how Diep made her favorite dish. He'd smile so wide his cheeks hurt. But the work began piling up, international clients, late-night calls, deals that couldn't wait. The phone calls became shorter, then less frequent, then stopped. He sent toys, books, plush animals. But Nee didn't want gifts. She wanted him. And she waited. One morning, Diep and Nee gathered eggs at the farm, ready to sell them at the market. It was simple, peaceful. But that quiet day would become the last time things ever felt whole. While Diep stepped inside briefly, an elderly woman appeared at the door. She introduced herself as Nee's grandmother. Her tone was polite, her presence calm, but her intentions were undeniable. "I've come to take my granddaughter home," she said, placing official documents and family records on the table. "We couldn't come earlier. We were too busy. But now I can take responsibility." Diep stood frozen. Nee clung to her hand, confused, anxious. The woman didn't stop there. She quietly showed Diep a message confirming a bank transfer of 100 million VND, with a whispered promise of 200 million more if everything went smoothly. Diep's stomach churned. She felt like she was being asked to sell a part of her soul. She called James. Once, twice, 10 times. No answer. "Your call could not be completed as dialed." Nee sat by the door, watching the sky. "Why doesn't Uncle James come visit me anymore?" she asked softly. Diep knelt down, holding back tears. "He's just busy, sweetheart. He still loves you." But even Diep didn't believe that anymore. That evening, the grandmother returned. This time, with her husband and a car parked outside. There was no more discussion. The law was on their side. Diep had no official claim, no rights. Nee cried, held Diep tighter, saying she didn't want to go. Diep begged for one more day, one more call, one more chance. But James still didn't answer. Thousands of miles away, James sat in a Tokyo hotel room, watching the rain. He finally picked up his phone. Drowsy from hours of meetings, he saw the missed calls, so many that he couldn't breathe. He dialed back instantly, but it was too late. When the call finally connected, Diep's voice was hollow. "She's gone, James. Her grandmother came and took her." James said nothing, just silence. The next morning, he flew home immediately, landing in the early dawn. He raced to Diep's small countryside house. It was empty. No laughter. No tiny shoes by the door. No Diep. He asked neighbors, the egg seller at the market, the shopkeeper. No one had answers. Or if they did, they wouldn't say. That night, James sat alone on the steps outside Diep's house. Nee's old stuffed bear was still there. He clutched it tightly to his chest, eyes burning with regret. "I should have answered the phone," he whispered. "I should have come home." Memories flooded back, Nee jumping into his arms, calling him by name, showing him her scribbled crayon drawings, laughing so hard she couldn't breathe. He pressed his face into the bear and let himself cry. For the first time in years, he cried like a child, because the two people who softened his world were gone, and he had only himself to blame. A child, taken back by blood. A woman, silenced by heartbreak. A man, too late to change anything. James could rebuild companies. He could move markets, but he could never buy back the moment he failed to pick up the phone. And now, no matter how loud he calls, no one answers.